Sometimes, history doesn't announce itself with fireworks or marching bands. It doesn't always arrive with revolutions in the streets or parades of celebration. Often, history slips in quietly, through a glance, a hesitation, or a single explosive moment that shatters the calm facade. That was exactly what happened the day Julius Malema lost his composure with General Gwani. To a casual observer, it might have looked ordinary, a politician shouting in anger, a brief flash of fury that stunned the audience into silence. But for those who know South Africa, who understand the rhythm of its politics, its betrayals, and its scandals, this was not an ordinary outburst. In this country, public rage is rarely just anger, it's fear. It's the sign of something deeper, something hidden behind the curtain where the cameras never reach. Malema's fury was not the irritation of a man interrupted. It was the trembling of someone watching a dangerous secret slip through his fingers, a secret powerful enough to topple walls. Think about it, why would one of the most confident, capable politicians of his generation allow his mask to fall so completely? Why risk looking weak in a world where every mistake becomes a weapon? The answer, though terrifyingly simple, is this: because the truth that threatened him wasn't merely about him. It was about an entire network of privilege, corruption, and deceit. A truth so dark that a single whisper could have set the whole structure ablaze. And so our story begins. The setting, a packed meeting hall humming with chants and slogans, flags blazing in the air like fire in the wind. Reporters sat ready, pens poised to record what seemed like another ordinary day in politics. Then, suddenly, lightning. Julius Malema's rage ripped through the room like a thunderclap. His voice, sharp and relentless, sliced the air with such violence that time itself seemed to freeze. The chatter stopped. Cameras stilled. Even the scratching of pens ceased. A gasp rippled through the audience. What had just happened? Why had he lost control? To an outsider, it might have looked like nothing more than a political temper tantrum. But to those familiar with the dark undercurrents of South African politics, it was clear this wasn't theater. This was fear. Behind Malema's fury lurked a shadow, the whisper of a secret too dangerous to name. Hours earlier, rumors had already begun circulating through backrooms and corridors. Word spread that General Gwani was preparing to drop a political bombshell, not just a careless comment or a name drop, but an accusation with proof. A revelation linking Cat Matt Lawler to what many have started calling the blue light scam. But the whispers didn't stop there. Another name surfaced, Dinga Leo, a senior EFF figure in Isha Hulini. Someone supposedly entrusted with upholding the movement's core values, justice, accountability, and integrity. If these rumors were true, this wasn't just another scandal, it was a betrayal of the very foundation the EFF claimed to stand on. For ordinary South Africans, blue light convoys are not mere flashing lights, they're symbols of inequality. They represent politicians racing past poverty and crumbling roads, wrapped in privilege while the people struggle. They're reminders of power's arrogance, of how leaders rise above the suffering they promise to end. So imagine the outrage when whispers began to suggest that even those who declared themselves different, the ones who promised to fight corruption, might be entangled in the same rot. That's why Malema's tirade mattered so deeply. When a man who thrives on control and fiery rhetoric suddenly falters, it's not bluster, it's panic. What followed his outburst was even more revealing. Phones rang through the night. Encrypted messages raced across secure apps. Secret meetings unfolded behind closed hotel curtains, voices lowered to whispers. Some scrambled to chase the story, while others rushed to erase it, deleting messages, burning documents, ensuring no journalist uncovered the wrong photo or bank record. And somewhere in the shadows, perhaps, a lone whistleblower lay awake, weighing the cost of stepping into the light. This isn't fiction. This is South African politics, raw, ruthless, and all too real. For years, The EFF branded itself as the crusader against corruption, marching in the streets, thundering in parliament, declaring, "We are not like the others." But what happens when the hunters become the hunted? What if the very movement built on exposing corruption now finds itself under the microscope? That question haunts the nation tonight. Devoted EFF supporters dismiss it all as lies, fabricated smears from political enemies. Yet, in kitchens, in taxis, and across WhatsApp groups, ordinary citizens whisper another question: what if it's true? What if the fighters are no cleaner than those they condemn? For millions of South Africans who no longer wear any party color, this feels like déjà vu, another broken promise, another betrayal, another reason to doubt that politics will ever truly serve the people. Every story has its characters, but in South Africa's political theater, these figures are never just names. They are symbols, shadows that hint at deeper truths. Julius Malema, bold and untouchable until now, had his first visible crack that day. And cracks, once they form, only spread. General Gwani, not merely a rival, but the man rumored to hold the match capable of burning it all down. Cat Matt Lawler, a name resurrected from the depths of scandal, now tethered to a narrative too dangerous to ignore. And Dinga Leo, the senior EFF figure at the center of this tempest, whose alleged involvement would mark not scandal but pure betrayal. Put these names together and the picture that emerges isn't random, it's a puzzle slowly taking shape. But this isn't a portrait of justice. It's an image of decay. This is what happens when secrets begin to unravel, when one rumor sparks another, one whisper becomes a headline, and one headline threatens to set the entire house ablaze.